Hi and welcome back to Building with the Boys. We are building the Disney Dolls house, and this time we are building pack 5, which includes our first wall and some very nice little effects for the house. So we'll take a look at it and we'll get into this. Not a load to do in this one, but this is going to be your first sort of experience of wallpapering these. We're going to be doing this a lot. So every room in the house is going to require wallpapering. So it's not overly complicated, but this requires you to take your time. There is no point in rushing this. If you rush this, you get it wrong. So just take your time with this. It is a one-shot deal, because if this goes on, it ain't coming off. So you need to make sure it goes on nice and smooth. Take your time, and your air bubbles out. But let's have a look at some of the other bits and pieces that come with it. So we've got these two rather lovely little cupcakes with this, which will go in the table in Mickey's room. So we have the Minnie cupcake and we have the Mickey cupcake, and rather lovely they are too. And then we have Steamboat Willie. Now this is the boat Mickey Mouse is driving in the very first appearance of Mickey Mouse from 1928. I've actually got him on my wall. I've added for the Doll's House build. There you can see, there's my Steamboat Willie. And then we have this train. Now, I don't know where this train's from, but I have a feeling that it is the Holiday Express from Disneyland. I think that is what that's modelled on, because as suspicious he looks like it. I'm going to find out where this train comes from, though. But yeah, the little paddle steamer there I think is lovely. And even though the house is incredibly colourful, I think it makes that black and white pop even more against all the colourful in the background. It makes it stand out. I like it. It's really cute. And again, it's just one of the things, everywhere you look in this house, there is another sort of Disney element, and I think that's what makes this model really special. So we're going to move on to the first build part. Now, if I move these, what we are going to be doing is we have this wall. This is our first wall of Mickey's room, and it's got the largest window in the house on it. We are going to be applying a wallpaper to this. Now you can see there's not much wall, so we're going to be cutting a lot of the wallpaper out of here. But I'll show you how to do that, and hopefully show you how to do it without getting air bubbles and creases in it. So what we've been asked to do in this one is we're going to lay this wallpaper onto here. Now, it suggests to do it from the bottom right hand corner up to the top. Now, there are two reasons for that. I know you're thinking that maybe it'd be easier to go from the top to bottom, but there is a reason why it's advising you to do it this way. The reason for that is there is more for the adhesive to take to on this section. Also, the top part's going to be forgiving because we have an alcove piece that will go up here, so it will forgive if you are slightly short. It won't be as forgiving if you're short down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up to this bottom corner, make sure it's nice and flush, and we go all the way up to there. Now the overhang you want on this side, you do not want overhang on this side, so that's how we're going to do this. Okay, I'm now going to show you how to peel it back so it's ready for application. So as you can see here, what I've done is I've taken this part about a couple centimetres and folded this back like that. So only this part is exposed. So what we can do now is we can take our time and we can line this up. Again, I appreciate this is the most riveting thing to watch, but this is why we take our time on this. So there we go. So we're going to apply that across there. Now, hopefully, all we're going to have to do here is apply down as we go. And there we have it. Nice and smooth, no problems at all. Now we're going to trim this off because we don't want all this excess on here, so that's going to be trimmed. So flipping this over, I'm going to take our craft knife. We're going to very simply score straight down. Again, take your time. You go do this speed. There are no prizes for speed at all. There are plenty of penalties for bodging it. So there we are. So that's that piece off. Now, what I am doing with these is I am holding on to these pieces that we cut off, because if you ever do need to cover something up, you've still got the piece, because we have a very large piece to cut out of here. Now, there's a temptation here to do something that I'm going to try not to do myself and urge you not to do. So as we cut through here, along there like that, let's really cut along here. There. Slice down here. And finally, along here. So hopefully this piece will come out. Now, the temptation is going to be, is if it's caught in a corner, is to pull it. Don't do that. You have a craft knife, use your craft knife. Because if you pull it, you're going to rip it. And if you rip it, you might get a much bigger tear on that wall than you were hoping for. So just have another go at it with your craft knife until it decides it wants to go. There we go. So that's that part out. Because again, it might be a little pull, but a little pull can cause a major problem. So there we have our door frame. Exactly as we need it to be. Okay, simple. So there's our first wall, and as you can see, I've kept our pieces of wallpaper back on the piece they came with. So if you ever do need to repair that wallpaper, you've got some options. If you need to fill a gap or something, you've got options. Now this is a striped wallpaper, it's going to be quite forgiving. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make this fascia piece here, which is going to attach to this section of the wall. So now you can see what I'm saying. It doesn't matter too much about what happens at the top. Again, don't worry about your edges too much here, because a window frame goes in here and covers up most of this wall. So this, out of all the walls, this one is quite forgiving. But we're going to add some trim to this section here. So we're going to get that now and take a look at it. So this is the way around we want this. So this is considered wall edge. This smoother piece here, so you can see flat there. This angled piece here, that's the way it's going to be. So the thicker part goes at the top, thinner part goes at the bottom. Now what it's saying to do with this is it wants, let me try and get a focus on this, that Mickey Mouse head right on the edge. Now depending on how yours is cut, because these aren't all going to be the same, depends how much you're going to have to trim off this, but that mouse head is pretty much where it needs to be already, which is quite lucky for me. So what we're going to do is, using exactly the same method as the wallpaper, so a little bit's going to be peeled back, we're then going to apply this to this, and as you can see, mine just happens to be cut exactly where I need it with that mouse head there. It's going to bring that straight along, and then we're going to trim off the excess. That's it. So that's that stuck. So what I've done is I've left slightly, maybe a millimetre more on the end here, and the reason for that is because this will attach to another piece. So I don't want gaps. I kind of want it to look seamless. So I've left, honestly, half a millimetre more than I should have, just as a little bit of forgiving when it comes to bolting all this together. I believe that's all we have to do. I'm not sure if we actually attach this to the wall today. Let me just check that. Yes, we do. Okay, so we are going to attach this to the wall as well. So that's pretty simple. We're just going to use some glue, tack that onto there. Now, I'm not using the super glue for this one, and I will tell you why. Because if for whatever reason these walls don't fit, because we need all these walls to fit clean, if they don't, that's going to have to come off. So I'm not super gluing it. I'm going to be using wood glue. Now I'll show you the wood glue that I use. It is the exact same brand as the super glue. So I use Loctite wood glue, but it's going to be a lot more forgiving. So if the event that I do have to pull that fascia off, I can. So that's why I'm using Loctite wood glue. I'll show you how I use this one. This one dries clear. It's a very good wood glue. You can see I've applied the wood glue and just using a brush, I've smoothed it all out. So we've got a nice thin but even layer of wood glue to apply to this. So we're going to line this up and we're going to attach this to here. And again, With super glue, you might find yourself giving yourself one shot at this. With wood glue, you're all right, you know. So that is where we need to be. Just double check that. Yep, that's looking good. So there we are. Now the final thing it's asking us to do is to apply some strips of masking tape to hold this in place. Now, if I was using super glue, I wouldn't bother, but I'm not. So I'm gonna. So quite simply, we're gonna grab a door frame like this, like that there, and just fold it over, just to hold these in place. Again, you're not trying to, you know, weld it to this. It's literally, it's just to hold it whilst that wood glue has its time to dry and take effect. So again, just there we go, and over the top. And that's it. And that is all we have to do in pack 5. Let's have a chat. So that's it for part 5. I mean, short and quick, that one, but necessary. So this is, you're going to do this a lot. Throughout this build, you're going to do this a hell of a lot. There's a lot of wallpaper to apply, because there's a lot of walls. I believe Mickey Mouse's has the most individual walls. So again, it's probably best we're getting that one out of the way at the moment, because when it comes to Frozen Room, for example, it's three walls. That's it. There's no more to it. Alice in Wonderland's got a lot more wall. I think Alice in Wonderland and Mickey have got a similar amount of walls, so maybe I'm wrong with that one. The rest of them don't, so it's really not that complex. But again, take your time with it. Take time with it. That's all you got to do. There's no rush at all. Again, there are no prizes for doing this, you know, in under a minute. You just take your time. Take as much time as you need to get that exactly where it needs to be, and smooth and slow, and you'll be fine. Don't press down on it as you're doing it. I mean, just enough to get the air out of it, but it means you can lift off and go back on if you have to. If you're like smashing it down straight away, that's where it's going to go. When you try and, if you need to remove it, you're going to have problems. But no, we had no problems at all with ours. I mean, ours is looking, you know, perfectly fine there. I need to put some masking tape on that. It's going to look out of sequence now, because you'll see it with masking tape before. No, it isn't. But I need to put some masking tape on that just to hold it in place. I don't think it's 100% necessary, but because I haven't used super glue on it, I will add the masking tape just to kind of hold it all in place whilst it dries, because wood glue takes about 24 hours. But again, the reason why I'm doing it is because if I do need to break that fascia off for some reason, if the walls aren't fitting flush and I need to move that fascia, I can, which is why I'm not super gluing that part. And that's the same method I'll be using with the walls as well. The walls will be wood glued into place. They won't be super glued into place, they'll be wood glued into place. Because wood glue gives you just as strong a bond, it just doesn't give you as fast. And I certainly don't want to, those walls have to fit, because they're going to be precise. So I don't want to super glue 3 walls, then find out the 4th wall doesn't fit, you know. So that's what we'll be doing. As I said, normally we have a bit of a chat about Disney and little bits and pieces. Because there's 3 this month, I'm going to save that until the next one. So part 6, we'll do the build, which again is just more wallpaper to walls. But there is something quite nice that comes in that one. We'll have a bit of a chat about that. And we'll have a bit of a chat about some other things. Some I will want to talk about in the next episode, hidden Mickeys, which has come up quite a lot, because there's a couple on the doors, and there's certainly some on the door handles, and there's kind of some on the alcove in there. I don't think you could class that as a hidden Mickey, but we'll talk all about hidden Mickeys as well. So I will see you next time for issue 6. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. We'll see you then.